Hi, it's Jen from Shabby Fabrics, back with the foundation paper piecing series for August. And we are zooming right along with this series. Hopefully you're having a lot of fun. I know I am. This is absolutely challenging me. Diane and I are working very closely. She's designing things, we're communicating, making changes. This month, we could not resist. Our gardens are in full bloom in August. Butterflies are zooming around. We are so excited to bring this one to you because it has a very special embellishment. This is a beautiful flower. The collection that I chose for this is called Jeweled Leaves. It's a metallic, accented, richly colored collection from Robert Kaufman, is what you're seeing in here. And of course, that three-dimensional butterfly, Diane and I worked very closely together with our laser team. And what you're seeing, this beautiful embellishment, will be a big focus of what we're talking about today. That will be included in your kit and all the components to make it. If there was one of these kits that I said, that's the one to spend some money on, this is the one. You'll see as we progress just how cool that embellishment is, and it really takes it to a whole other level. So as you know, we kicked this off with our April project back when we were making tulips together, where I went through all of the steps of really how foundation paper piecing works. So if you're just now finding us for the first time and you haven't been joining us for the series, I encourage you to go back. If you're unfamiliar with this, as I was, very casually familiar, I would say, where I've just done that a foundation paper piecing now and again. Now I'm doing it every month and I'm loving it. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's one of my favorite things to do. Of course, things that you need to be successful in foundation paper piecing are definitely the add a quarter ruler, other notions that I talk about in there, but you always want to start off with a solid product, and our kit is absolutely that. Just a quick review of what you can expect in your kit every time, of course, is full color, absolutely checked and checked again instructions, guiding you through the process, because our desire is for you to have fun and be successful. We do a lot of back end work here to make sure that is what's happening for you. Any concerns, of course, reach out to us. We want to help you have a good time and solve any questions you might have. Along with the pattern, what we've been doing, of course, is including some stickers, 2 sets of those, so that once you cut out your fabrics, you can just sticker those fabrics as you're cutting them, an extra set to practice with some scrap fabric, or maybe if you're a seasoned foundation paper piecing expert pro, you can just use some fabrics and just go and make a second one to maybe give as a gift. We know that with most foundation paper piecing patterns, books, you have to go Xerox that. I know for myself, trying to find a company that I can walk into and Xerox, I just can't find the time to do it. So we have used the Carol Doak foundation paper piecing product, and we went ahead and Xeroxed that for you. Again, 2 sets, one to practice with and one for using for the real deal with your beautiful Jeweled Leaves fabric. So we really, like I've said, put our whole hearts into our patterns and our kits with you in mind every time, so you can have a good time and be successful. So because we covered all the steps with foundation paper piecing, not only in April, but again in May, the focus of today will actually be, I'm going to be embellishing with a metallic gold thread. I want to show you that. I've been afraid to use metallic thread in the past because I've always experienced breakage. And that was up until I found the thread director and in combination with the Schmetz metallic needle. That combination is such a dynamic combination, not calculation, that I now use metallic thread with confidence that I didn't have before. I just avoided it. So isn't that nice now that all those beautiful metallic threads are there and available for you to use? So the thread director, let's just dive right into that right now. You do not have to have a Bernina to make this work. If you have a machine that has a spool pin holder, I have an old Kenmore at home that has just this kind of little, almost like a square, and it has an extra pin, and you just pop that in, That's all whatever you have can work. So the thread director here, the whole job of the thread director is really to have the thread coming off at a more natural direction to avoid stressing the thread before it's even gotten to the project. So as we can see here, the way that the thread director just has this pivoting so that now it's just coming off like a paper towel versus being turned and twisting off this way, which already builds tension and stress into the thread, potentially leading to a breakage. So this thread director, I'm just going to pop it off just momentarily. That's all there is to it, just like that. The top portion just feeds into this kind of barrel. This just comes down, or if you've got the spool pin at home with whatever you're using, that'll either lift up or you just insert that. Just pop that in, tighten that. You'll want to load your thread so that it's coming off the top. And then I also have the Schmetz metallic needle. We've also changed our stitch length and tension on our Bernina. You might want to experiment, of course, on some scrap fabric. We have a stitch length of 2.75 and our tension is 2.75. Again, just experiment, get a couple layers of fabric because of course you're going to have your foundation paper piece top, your batting, and your backing. So it'd be good to have that same bulk for you to be practicing if you are going to change your tension, and maybe you don't need to change your tension. So I just want to come over here and just show you, our other month's thread sets have had multiple threads. This is just one, and of course it's just an option, but I think seeing the beautiful metallic thread absolutely everywhere, every fabric has metallic in it for this month, adding that touch of elegance of top quilting with gold was an obvious pick for us. So I'm just going to stitch a row or two and you can see how beautiful this is and how easy this is. It lays down with confidence with the thread director. Just let's look at how gorgeous this is. That is absolutely, the light catches this in a way that is absolutely stunning. I tend to avoid my thread cutter. I have noticed that when I use my thread cutter, either with monofilament or metallic, it tends to unthread my thread. So that's the only reason you're seeing me hand cut that. Let's just do another one because it's so fun to be able to sew with metallic. Let's look at that again. Is this just stunning? We went ahead and we'll go ahead and get a close-up of our project over there where we were just adding some gold metallic really only on the one side of the beautiful flower. So again, we'll get a close-up so you can get that, see what we did there with that project. So you can imagine just being able to quilt with this beautiful metallic thread, which just takes it to an entirely other level. It is amazing. Of course, you're going to be trimming your fusible fleece or your batting, whatever you're doing, and binding is normal. But let's talk about the butterfly. That's what we're talking about today. That really is, this is beautiful by itself, right? The butterfly embellishment, of course, is optional. It does pin onto the project. It can come off. So if you ever did want to wash your project, you will be able to do that. So I'm so excited to be able to show this to you. A lot going on. Let me just show you what you can expect in your kit. This month's project is a couple dollars more. I think it was like $3 more, $4 more, because of all the components that we are putting in that kit, which you're seeing right now, a piece of the black embroidery floss, the pipe cleaner, all the things that we're going to use to create our beautiful butterfly, including this fairy frost. We're going to try to zoom in on that and see the beautiful little glitter on that. That's Fairy Frost from Michael Miller. We have this beautiful iridescent paper and a pink batik that has some fusible webbing on the back. So the first thing that we will do to create this amazing butterfly is in your kit, you will have your butterfly. If you're doing this from home, of course, you have your instructions in here where you'll be able to trace your butterfly, and we'll guide you through that process. If you're getting the kit, the first thing you'll be doing is taking off the fusible webbing, and you have your piece of iridescent. We will be ironing that down to our iridescent kind of film, I would call it. It is heat tolerant, but still, it seems so delicate to me. I'm going to go ahead and cover that. I'm using the June Taylor Easy View pressing cloth. And I'll be honest, up till now, I've just kind of grabbed a piece of white fabric. But I love that I can see through this. Most of the time when I'm grabbing a piece of like just a white solid, it's pretty solid and I can't really see through well. I like that I can still see what I'm working on. So I do think that this one is a good one to have. I want to mention that if you have any folds in your film, don't worry, and none of that will matter. So I'm going to go here. I'll just put my film down. Hopefully you can see now. Let's kind of push this off to the side so you can see this a little bit better. Let's bring this a little more center stage. There we go. And I'm just going to cover that up. Let's fuse that together. So here's what it looks like. It might kind of almost like shrink. That's normal. When I saw that the first time, I'm like, uh-oh. Diane's like, nope, that's normal. So the next step will be to go ahead and cut out just all the way right to the wing, just being careful not to, of course, cut into your wings. So I will go ahead and cut that out, and then when I am back, we will continue. Okay, now that my butterfly is cut out, my other very delicate and beautifully cut out butterfly, peel this off. I can't imagine trying to cut this by hand. I don't even think I could, to be honest with you. Maybe an X-Acto knife. I don't know how I would even do it. All right, now, this part is actually on the back of our butterfly so that the iridescent shows through, and when you have your three-dimensional butterfly, in fact, let me show you that, you're seeing that. So when your wings are lifted, you're still seeing the beautiful pink on the back. So make sure it's the iridescent side up, and in order to get our alignment right on the mark, you want to maybe just do a portion of that to start with, so that you can still see everything's aligned. I'm just going to do that half to start. Straight down, don't do any lateral movement. And now we'll just make sure we're still aligned. Let's do the other side. Oh, it's so beautiful. I hope you guys know how much fun we have here coming up with these. We literally laugh and smile knowing that we hope so much that it makes you happy and brings you joy, because it's these extra things that really take the design to another level. So we have so much fun creating this for you. If you have any areas where you need to trim away, maybe like I can see a little bit of my iridescent, I didn't trim as close. Go ahead and do that right now. Get it where you want it to be. I was so nervous about clipping into my pink wing there that I cut that a little bit short. Okay, I'm happy with what I'm seeing. Now, let's talk about this dimension, because notice how our butterfly has these dimensional wings. How did that part happen? That's the next magic we'll go over. And of course, the middle of a butterfly has that fuzzy body and then the antenna. So that'll be our very next step. So I'm just going to show you where we're going. Diane's ingenuity popping in here. To be a little bit noisy, she basically got a piece of aluminum foil and she kept folding it in half, folding it in half and folding it in half until it was basically just like this. And then she built the sides up so it created a tray. Then with a separate piece of aluminum foil, she just folded it in half, and it's very noisy, so I'm avoiding that right now. And she just kind of created this ability for being able to set this in here. But wait a minute, it's got to get wet, right? Well, we have a product that we have found, and it's called Stiff and Quick. I'm going to grab a piece of parchment paper just to protect my work surface. Anything will do. Doesn't need to be parchment paper. But I'm just going to grab that. So what we're going to do now is completely saturate this because we can't form a new shape unless it's wet, right? So you want to shake this product well, and you just might be seeing this product on a future video. Just maybe. Pretty cool product. This is Aleene's Stiff and Quick. So anytime you're wanting to give a product dimension. Now, Diane said, just saturate this. Completely saturate this product or this butterfly with this product. Okay. So I'm going to just dry off my hands a touch. Once that's done, this is when she put the butterfly in the tray and put the center portion and kind of formed those wings like this. Isn't she just, I thought that was so clever. She's always said that as a teacher, she always had to make do with what she had. And doesn't she do a great job with that? So you can form this however you want to. And now you just let it sit. Just let it sit. You can kind of, as it starts to dry, kind of come and check on it. If you want to bend one wing more, kind of bend, whatever you want to do, you're going to let that dry. Once that's dry, here's your butterfly. But now we need to still have that antenna and that body. So I'll put this aside for now. And our next step will be, I mentioned some embroidery floss that will be in it's just a small piece. So you'll also be getting in your kit some gold safety pins. I wanted the gold to match just in case you saw a touch of the safety pin. It wasn't silver, it was gold like everything else. That's part of this. Okay, and the reason I gave you two is one to practice with and then one to use. So I just thought because it's an unusual approach, we would give you a couple. So you're going to get a small piece, and once again, well, we're going to use the Stiff and Quick, but let's get it loaded here. So in your safety pin, there is a portion at the top that we're just going to hook that into. And once again, we're spraying that with the Stiff and Quick. But she found, in order to kind of keep it in the shape she wanted, in the end, she taped that. So let me just try to mimic that so you see what I'm talking about. I'll bring this back. Okay, we understand we're making wings here. So I'll just put that over here for the moment. For this portion, she again had spritzed this heavily, gotten it where she wanted it to be. But in order to have them be at that angle, you could either just kind of let that be there, or if you're worried about anything shifting, she had taped hers. So however you want to do that, but the goal is, again, let that dry so that we have, at the angle, you want those antennae at, and make sure your embroidery floss is absolutely saturated. And this is where she brought in some tape, just so she could really almost pull down and create tension so they were straight up. So I'll just mimic what she did there. Except I should have done that a little bit higher up. You get the idea though. There we go. So it's I don't like that. Let's do that angle. Right there, just like that. Go ahead and let that dry. Once that's dry, we'll remove this from the parchment paper. And of course, we're going to trim that anyway, so let's just trim it to the length we like. Probably about like that. And these are good and stiff, very stiff. Our antennas are looking great, our antenna, I should say. Now that body, you've got a full pipe cleaner in your kit. Cut that in half. Practice with 1/2 and that extra safety pin we gave you. With the other half, you'll be going right through that opening. In fact, I know Diane said opening up the safety pin a little bit more, being careful, they are delicate, is helpful. It kind of gives you the room to operate in. She went right through that opening of the safety pin. Let me try this end, might be more exposed. Right there. So that's kind of the beginning. So of course, we're just trying to wrap our pipe cleaner around our safety pin to be our butterfly body. So we do as many. You have way more than you need. So as you get toward that top, we want to be able to cover that, but we need to make sure we have room to close our pin. So you might want to just double check that you're still good. So I'm going to probably cut mine about right there. Making sure I have that kind of spot on the side that I can squeeze in there. And you can always kind of do that final finessing of closing that in the end. So we'll grab our project, we'll grab our butterfly. The pin will insert into the butterfly just once and will ultimately clasp right above that. So, I mean, if you want to make extras of these just to decorate, they're beautiful. So I'm going to open that back up. Figure out where you want this on your project. Maybe you want this right here. You don't need to go all the way to the back. Latch that closed, and then you can kind of wrap that pipe cleaner around the top to the back so it's hiding any part of your safety pin, and work your antenna where you want them to be. I even use my look at that. That is amazing. How fun is that? And I think that's where I like that antenna to be. And this is our beautiful butterfly that is adorning our gorgeous flowers. So hey, again, these kits, this fabric collection is one of the most specific collections we've used to date. A lot of these other projects I've done are from various ones. Sometimes I can get more fabric. This is it. I have already asked. This is the last of that fabric. So be sure to pick up your kits. Let your friends know as well. Subscribe, and I'll see you next month as we continue foundation paper piecing for September.